What if the loneliness so many people feel today isn't a personal failure, but the predictable result of the way modern society was designed? For decades, we have been taught the same message. Be independent. Be self-sufficient. Need no one. Earn your own money. Build your own life. Solve your own problems. And never depend on anyone else. Modern culture transformed self-reliance into the highest form of freedom. The ideal person became the one who could stand completely alone. The one who needed nothing. And no one. At first, it sounds empowering. But there is a question few people ask. If independence is the ultimate goal, why do so many people feel so deeply alone? Why do so many return to empty apartments after successful days and feel an ache they cannot explain? Why does a world filled with millions of people often feel emotionally deserted? Why, despite being more connected technologically than any generation before us, do so many people feel disconnected from everyone around them? Perhaps because something fundamental has been forgotten. Human beings were never designed to exist as isolated individuals. For hundreds of thousands of years, survival depended on connection, on cooperation, on belonging, on being part of something larger than yourself. Yet modern society convinced us that dependence is weakness, that needing others is failure, that complete independence is strength. But what if the opposite is true? What if the extreme individualism we celebrate today is quietly pushing us away from the very thing our minds need most? Because in our attempt to become completely independent, we may have created something unexpected. A perfect loneliness. A life where we need fewer people than ever before, yet miss human connection more than ever before. Today, we explore the hidden cost of hyper-individuality and the illness of isolation slowly spreading through the modern world. Evolutionary biology is remarkably clear about one thing. Human beings were never designed to survive alone. Our ancestors did not possess sharp claws. They did not have powerful fangs. They could not outrun a cheetah, and they were far weaker than many of the predators that surrounded them. So how did they survive? How did such a physically vulnerable species come to dominate the planet? The answer was simple. The tribe. Our greatest evolutionary advantage was never strength. It was cooperation. Trusting one another. Protecting one another. Sharing burdens. Sharing weaknesses. And surviving together. For our ancestors, saying, "I don't need anyone," would have been almost equivalent to stepping alone into the wilderness and hoping to survive. Because of this, the human brain evolved to seek connection, to feel empathy, to build relationships, to belong. Social bonds were never a luxury. they were a necessity. And the brain still treats them that way today. Whenever we form meaningful relationships, our brains reward us with feelings of trust, safety, and emotional security. Because for most of human history, connection increased the chances of survival. Isolation did the opposite. But the modern world changed the environment faster than it changed the brain.
Today, many people spend their lives in offices, small apartments, and digital spaces. We are encouraged to become self-sufficient individuals, independent, self-reliant, untouchable. Yet our ancient brain doesn't fully understand this new reality. When you sit alone in a comfortable home, your rational mind may know that you're safe. But deeper systems inside your brain often interpret isolation very differently. To them, separation still resembles danger, exclusion, abandonment, the loss of the tribe. And perhaps that is why chronic loneliness feels so painful. Because somewhere deep inside, an ancient part of the human mind is still sending the same message it has sent for thousands of generations. Find your people, or you will not survive.
Modern society often celebrates independence as the highest form of freedom. But there is another side to this story. When people belong to strong communities, they share their struggles, they share their joys, they support one another through difficult times, and many of their emotional needs are fulfilled through human connection. But when people become isolated, something changes. The emptiness that was once filled by community often seeks another outlet. And increasingly, that outlet becomes consumption. New clothes, new gadgets, more entertainment, more subscriptions, more things to buy, more distractions to consume. Because loneliness creates needs that products promise to satisfy, even when they rarely do.
This is where the trap of hyper-individualism begins to reveal itself. The message sounds empowering. Be completely independent. Need no one. Rely only on yourself. But beneath the surface, the consequences can be profound. As social bonds weaken, individuals become increasingly disconnected from one another. Neighborhoods become less connected. Communities become smaller. Family relationships become more fragile. And many people find themselves facing life's challenges alone. What remains is often a society of isolated individuals, connected digitally, but disconnected emotionally. And perhaps one of the most successful ideas of the modern age was convincing people that needing others is something to be ashamed of, that dependence is weakness, that vulnerability is failure. Yet for most of human history, interdependence was not a flaw. It was the foundation of survival itself. The truth may be uncomfortable. Human beings were never meant to carry the entire weight of life alone.
Throw away the crown of false independence that the modern world has placed upon your head. Needing no one is not a sign of strength.
It is a battle against the very nature of what it means to be human. Today, lift your head from that concrete cell you've built around yourself. Be brave enough to ask someone for help, or generous enough to help carry someone else's burden. Because true courage is not pretending that you can do everything alone. True courage is allowing yourself to connect, to trust, to belong. Remember this: a human being can survive alone, but only within a tribe can they truly live. Only through connection can life become more than mere survival.
Because salvation is not hidden inside the empires we build for ourselves. It is found in the hands we extend to one another, in the people who stand beside us, and in the bonds that remind us we were never meant to walk through life alone. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.